welcome to my guitar collection, the Ministry of Guitar. Let's open this thing up. A McCarty, a PRS, McCarty 594, single cut wood library. If that isn't one of the best tops that you have seen on any guitar, let alone Fender, let alone PRS, let alone whatever. This is just, I don't know. I see plenty of nice tops. I have a lot of PRSs, private stocks, and this is no ordinary store either. It is Ishibashi Mochano Mizu's world's finest guitars. It is a Gibson custom shop only. The whole shop is only Gibson custom shop. Fender vintage hot rod 57 Stratocaster, candy apple red. This is, apart from being one of the most incredible looking guitars you will see, this is in charcoal. This is one of the most special PRS guitars out there. Alright folks, we are back with another guitar. This one is a core guitar. It isn't a private stock, but it is a very, very special core guitar. It starts off with the case. This is what you call a Paisley case. Today you only get it on private stock and some wood libraries, but in the past there were certain core limited runs that did get it. It's really beautiful. I mean, look at this detail. I mean, especially for like, of course guys like this, but girls especially, like if I talk about my wife or anyone, this is definitely some of the favorite cases for her. So let's open this up. Would you mind giving us some space? I think you might. And we come to the second spectacular thing about this guitar. This has the best top of any core PRS guitar, non-private stock, that I have seen at least, and I think it's comparable to most private stocks. Look at that. Just take in the beauty of this. It's astounding. And we just go forward, put it a little bit further up, get a bit of light falling on it, and a little bit of the back as well. So this is a first year original run Paul's guitar, the first year that it came out, 2013. This is an artist pack which gives it this top. I'm not entirely sure if it has Brazilian rosewood or not. The back of the headstock doesn't say it, so that's why I'm assuming it doesn't have it. But if it doesn't have Brazilian rosewood, it has Honduran rosewood. And this for me is a stunning example of a stunning guitar. Few things. So the Paul's guitar has a few tricks up its sleeve. It has these brushstroke birds, and the original run of Paul's guitar have a slightly larger brushstroke birds. That's how you can kind of recognize them. This of course has these narrow, not narrow field, but narrower than normal humbuckers. These are called 408 humbuckers because they came on the 408, originally with the Signature Limited, which you would have seen on one of my other videos. And this has a very unique switching system where you can split each of the coils individually, and you also don't lose volume. You just get a thinner sound. Excuse me. Other details, you have little brass inserts in the bridge, because brass gives you the sound you want, but it's heavier, so you have a regular, I think, nickel bridge, but you get brass inserts, so you get the best of both worlds. Yeah, I think it's just a pretty astonishing guitar. This, excuse me, I'm putting the case back in a better way. So, regular PRS locking tuners. It's got a thicker neck than usual. It's called a pattern neck. Still not a thick neck. I would say it's thinner than a 59, but definitely not as thin as a 60. It's like, if I compare versus an R9, it's just slightly thinner, like a thin R9 neck. And yeah. Now, what's the USP of this guitar? It's the sound of it, definitely. The humbuckers have a clarity, yet they're not very tight. So it's like you're getting a beautiful vintage sound, very clear, but it still has a wonderful bounciness that you would want. You're not really playing metal on this thing, though you can. And the single coil sounds also very nice. They just have their own unique flavor. Overall, it's just a very, very nice guitar. It can do everything a Gibson can do. It can ape Fender as well. And then specifically it has its own thing going on. A very good example. I haven't yet decided whether I want to sell this or not. And the reason I'm considering selling it is because I have another guitar, which is also a Paul's guitar, but a very unique Paul's guitar, which is a little bit more to my taste. And as I'm thinking of consolidating down my collection, because I have like 80, and I'm literally trying to sell half my guitars because 80 is just impossible to manage. That's where I'm faced between a tough choice between this and another not similar, but another Paul's guitar, but a very, very different guitar. I'm going to show that to you next. This, folks, is what you call a PRS leather case. So this is actually, though it looks black like a regular PRS case, it's actually made from leather. So this is what you get with some artist packs. It's not a very common case, but it has a very different texture and is very, very interesting and very premium feeling. Though of course this particular guitar has a few, I would say, indentations under the leather. So I showed you the Paul's guitar previously. This is based on the Paul's guitar, but it is much, 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 much rarer. This is a hybrid, a child of the Paul's guitar and the Custom 24. And this is a very desirable, very unique run. It's called the Brushstroke 24. And I'm going to show this to you. The top on this guitar is not quite as nice as the Paul's guitar. That one had a quilt. This is a flame, still a very, very nice, practically private stock grade top. And this also comes in a very, very unique color. Let me show this to you, then I'll talk a little bit about the guitar. Look at that. Actually, take it back. The top is also very nice. It's probably the best kind of flame that you can get. I mean, astonishing, right? It just looks amazing. So take a quick look at that. I'm going to finish off showing this guitar in the music room because there's a little bit of sound outside, some children playing. So this is like a Paul's guitar, but it has a few things that make it like a Custom 24, namely like the tremolo, though you can get a tremolo in a normal Paul's guitar as well, and the 24 frets. Other than that, it's basically a Paul's guitar, which means it has the Paul's humbuckers, or rather the 408 humbuckers, the electronics as we saw, the brushstroke birds, and very importantly, the nice thick patterned neck, almost like a 59 Les Paul. So for someone like me who likes a Custom 24 but wishes it was a little bit more traditional, in the sense that I wish it had a thicker body, slightly thicker body, not very thick, not Les Paul thick. I wish it had a bigger neck. This is the perfect guitar. The Paul's guitar gets a little bit too traditional for me because it's 22 frets, it doesn't have a trem. This is the perfect match. And it's just a very, very beautiful, usable piece of art, yet an amazing instrument kind of a guitar. So that's the reason why I'm selling the other Paul's guitar, because if I had to choose between the two of them, though I like the top on that one better, that is one of the best tops I've ever seen. Ultimately, I will go with the functional preferences, which is 24 frets and tremolo over the looks. So that's why this guitar is likely to stay, and that guitar will eventually go. Though I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm a very fickle buyer and seller. So I'm a little strange to deal with sometimes. Sometimes I sell a guitar for a while and I take it off. Sometimes I'm a little bit like that, but that's okay. So we'll see. So this is the Paul's Brushstroke 24. One of the best runs PRS has ever made, in my opinion. Alright, it's raining a little bit, but worry not. we have something literally special to make up for the rain. This is a guitar that's very popular. Some call it an affordable version of the Super Eagle, which I think is fair. And this is a particularly stunning example because it comes in a private stock color, even though this is a core guitar. So let's look at it and I'm going to tell you about it. 1 second. Look at that. Look at the beauty of this thing. Wow. Check that out. Okay. One more look at it. This side. This side. The back. So this, as some of you already know, is a PRS special semi-hollow. This is like a custom 22, which is like a 22 version of a custom 24, but with certain variances. It has a PRS narrow field humbucker in the middle. It has a semi-hollow construction, and it has a 5-way switch with 2 mini switches to individually split each of the single coils, each of the humbuckers, sorry. Otherwise, it's fairly standard, like a regular PRS. It just has a bigger neck than a custom 22. Has a pattern neck similar to a Paul's guitar. Rosewood fretboard, mahogany body, maple top, all the usual stuff. This is an unusual guitar, and I'll be very, very honest. I'm a big PRS fan, but this is not my favorite PRS model. I guess it's just not for my taste. I'm not really into the John Mayer, Dead & Company, all of those kind of sounds. That's not my jam at all. So this guitar for me, on one hand, the positives is it's a PRS, so it plays like a dream, it's functional, it's reliable, it just feels like home, like any PRS does. But for me, there are other PRSs that do the job much better. So, for me, the tone is not... So let me talk about where it excels. It excels in low gain, mid gain, in between sounds, all of those things that a lot of people love, but those are not the things that I play in. I either play very, very high gain. It can do it, but it's not really designed for it. Or I play ambient, very, very pristine cleans sometimes. This can do it, but there are other guitars that do it a little bit better, or rather are more suited to what I like. I wouldn't say that this doesn't do cleans well. This does cleans astonishingly well, just not to my taste. So which is why I got this guitar in a trade. I had tried it a few times, but I thought, you know what, I need to try it out properly. Let's give this thing a proper whirl to see whether it suits me or not. And I've come to the conclusion that there are, especially since I'm consolidating, this would not make my particular shortlist for me, which is why this particular guitar is on the sale list. This is a very special example. Now, 2 reasons. Reason number 1, this is from the original run. So basically, the history of this guitar is that they made a special run for the PRS Experience 2018. This was just a model made for that event, and it was so successful that they turned it into a core model. The original ones have different humbuckers. These are 58-15 empties, and they're flipped. So if you notice, the orientation of the bottom humbucker and the top humbucker is the same. Whereas on the newer models, the actual core model it's opposite. So humbuckers are slightly different, and of course, this being the original run gives it a little bit more exclusivity than a regular core model that you can just buy. The other thing about this particular piece is it was an experience guitar, so it came with options you don't normally get. So this has this beautiful Glacier blue. It's like greenish, bluish. It really depends on the light. To be clear, this guitar, I like all PRS blues, especially the most beautiful PRS blue colors. It's a double-edged sword. You have to accept that how the guitar looks when you buy and how it may look many, many years later will be different. It's a little bit like a original Sunburst Les Paul in terms of certain parts of it will fade unless you are extremely careful. being extremely careful just means putting it back in the case when you're not playing. In this particular guitar cases, the good thing is it is mostly unfaded, but undoubtedly there's a bit of fading over here. I think you can just about see it. There's a little bit of fading over here, touch of fading over here. Yeah, that's it. I can't see any other fading anywhere else. So that's another thing to accept with these blue guitars. It's just colors: Glacier blue, Northern Lights, aquamarine. Then there is aqua violet. Beautiful, beautiful colors, but they are made from organic dyes, stains, and so organic stains rather. So they will fade. So you just have to accept it. All right. So this is the special semi-hollow from PRS Guitars. After one limited run, the 2018 experience, we are at another limited run. This is a guitar that not many of you would have heard of. I'm sure if you're watching this channel, if I ask you, have you heard of the McCarty 594? Everyone will raise their hands. But if I ask you, have you heard of Ted McCarty? You think of the Gibson guy, the Gibson president who was behind the golden era of Gibson and after whom the McCarty 594 is named. But you may not know, before the McCarty 594, there was a different PRS model made in tribute to the McCarty. I'm not talking about the original McCarty, which came out in the 1990s. I'm talking about a guitar that was actually given his full name, Ted McCarty. And this is the PRS Ted McCarty. Also, and it comes in two styles, double cut and single cut. This is the double cut DC. So this is the PRS DC, Ted McCarty DC 245. Look at that top. That is a private stock top. Make no doubt about it. Beautiful honey amber. And we'll go a little bit further in front and you'll see something slightly different. Going forward. Look at that. That is not a regular PRS headstock. That is the McCarty, Ted McCarty, or the Santana headstock. And let's raise this thing in the front and then from the back. Nice natural mahogany, vintage style tuners. You can see the headstock again. Okay, let's talk about this model. So this is a DC 245 Ted McCarty. DC stands for double cut, 245 stands for the scale length. So this is a 24.5 inch scale length double cut, which makes it a very, very unique guitar. Because other than the McCarty 594, this is the only short scale double cut guitar that PRS ever made. And this is the first one they made, actually, I would say. Someone can correct me. So if you remember the Paul's guitar I showed you earlier, this is similar, that it has that kind of a PRS compensated bridge. This has 5909 pickups. This has McCarty switching, which is just volume tone with a coil split and three-way. And then the rest of it is standard PRS fare. I think what makes this particular piece special is this is from a limited run from Wilcut Guitars. And Wilcut Guitars are known for making some astonishing runs, and this is one of them. So beyond the tops that they put on this run, this is from 2010, which are private stock grade tops. Today, if you buy a private stock, this is the kind of top that you will get. This also comes with private stock nitro finish. So this is not a poly finish guitar, this is a nitro finish guitar. And that makes it even more special. Of course, PRS comes with nitro today as standard, but the PRS nitro that you get on core guitars today is different from the more traditional nitro that you get on private stock. So this has got that more traditional nitro. I really, really like this guitar. So both the special semi-hollow and this particular guitar I got recently, as in I got it in December. I don't know when you're watching this. And it's kind of funny, both are PRS guitars, both have big necks. This has a big same pattern, white fat neck. I fell in love with this guitar, and the semi-hollow had me like, because it was just, not my thing. Now this guitar is perfectly my thing, because I used to say that the signature limiter is the best sounding Les Paul that I have, but this guitar has been nailing the Les Paul tones like nothing else. I don't know what's there about it. It is the sweetest sounding guitar. Maybe it's the scale length, maybe it's the body. I don't know what it is. This is the sweetest sounding guitar I have. It's unbelievable to think that this is a double cut. You would listen to this thing and you would think it's the most beautiful Les Paul sound you've ever heard. And honestly, I might prefer this to the McCarty 594. Somehow. I'm definitely preferring it to my McCarty 594 at the moment. So, an astonishing guitar for my taste. Really, really liking it. The color is not to my taste, but then the advantage is that because I don't have any guitars of this color, it's not bad to have this kind of a traditional amber kind of this, it keeps things variable. So yeah, this is the PRS Ted McCarty DC 245. So the Ted McCarty that I showed you earlier had a bit of a spill-on effect, and that was when I got that guitar, I suddenly just fell in love with the 24.5 inch scale. And then I was thinking, which single cut has a 24.5 inch scale? And then I remembered the P245, in a way the predecessor to the McCarty 594. And then I was wishing that maybe it would be great if it could be like with the piezo and a semi-hollow. Sorry, I remembered the SC245, and then I remembered the P245, which is the piezo version. Then I remembered that I had played a P245 semi-hollow. So I had gone to Korea. This is around the time I bought my McCarty 594 Graveyard 2. And I'd gone to Korea, and when I was looking around the shop, I played two guitars before I discovered the Graveyard 2. And there were two SC P245s, one with a beautiful quilted maple top that was a solid body, and one with a regular black gold top which was a semi-hollow. And the semi-hollow one had blown the other guitar out of the water. I was shocked. I never thought that semi-hollow makes a difference, and I don't really usually like semi-hollow. You saw what I told you about the special semi-hollow. But there was something about this guitar. Lo and behold, 2023, 4 years later, because I bought the McCarty 594 Graveyard in 2019, that guitar was still there in that shop as new old stock. I saw it on the website. And then I remembered I playing this guitar, and I was like, okay, this is getting taken up. So here we are, one of the last guitars I bought. This is the semi-hollow in black gold, PRS P245. It's not the most amazing top out there. It's okay. It's a regular PRS top. It's a beautiful looking guitar though. And this is in, as I said, a P245 single cut. As you can see, it was recently shipped, so a lot of stuff is still in here. Okay, let's talk about this. What's a P245? P245 stands for Piezo 245. 245, similar to the Ted McCarty, stands for the scale length. So this has a 24.5 scale length. This has two 5815 humbuckers, not the 5815 LT low turn. This is the regular 5815, which are still very, very nice. Not still, they are amazing. This has similar to a McCarty layout, so master volume, and let me see, master volume, tone with coil split, then a 3-way switch to activate the piezo, and then a piezo volume blend switch, and semi-hollow construction, maple top, mahogany body, and like any piezo guitar, if you mind showing this to you, it has two output jacks. This is a black gold color. It's a black gold wrap, so the binding, instead of being natural, is stained in the top color, as you can see. What can I say? And the rest of it is standard. It's got rosewood fretboard, PRS birds, locking tuners. I would say this has a very fat neck. That was one of the things I liked about it. It's technically supposed to be a pattern, but this is the thickest pattern neck I have ever felt. Small variations, and maybe because it has a lacquer, it is a gloss neck. So maybe that's one of the reasons why, but I love it. This is the perfect size of neck for me. This guitar is going to be kept, and I'm likely going to sell the 594 hollow body 2 that I have in favor of keeping this guitar. Two reasons. I like the 594 hollow body 2, but ultimately I have realized that I kind of prefer the sound of mahogany bodied guitars over maple bodied guitars. So both the PRS archtop hollow body 2, which is also two maple tops, and then the hollow body, my 594 hollow body 2, which is also two-sided maple top, they are nice, but there's a quality to mahogany bodied guitars I just like better. So there's that. This also is a single cut, which is the shape that I prefer, and it has the functionality of the piezo. You could say it's not a true hollow body, it's semi-hollow, but this thing does get the jazz tones to the extent that I play jazz and that kind of music pretty well. So as I consolidate my collection, this one is going to stay, and the 594 hollow body 2, which is an amazing guitar as well. Probably makes Les Pauls redundant, as I've told you many times. And that is lighter as well, and that one is a double cut shape, which some people prefer. So that will go, but this P245 is going to stay. Alright, so nice guitar, and then I'll show you some more unusual PRS guitars in my collection next time.